French warplanes are pounding Islamic State positions in Syria. This pounding continued through Sunday night. Police in Europe have widened their investigations into the coordinated attack in Paris that has killed 130 people. Now, the French, they've targeted the headquarters of the Islamic State, their communication center, their ammunition depots, their training centers in the city of Raqqa, one of the strongholds of the Islamic State. Now, the American intelligence agencies gave precise locations from where there was a communication to Paris just ahead of these terror attacks. The French pinpointed that area. They used their Rafales, they used their Mirage 2000 fighter jets, and they've bombed these places. Editor Shiv Arur now joins me with the latest. Shiv, take us through what the French President Francois Hollande promised would be merciless French action.
This is the beginning of merciless French action, Gaurav. 10 aircraft operating for the French Air Force and the French Navy, in fact, from UAE and Jordan bases that have been lent to the French for this particular operation took off late last evening, raining hell on the al-Raqqa city of northeastern Syria, known to be a very, very powerfully held ISIS stronghold, a place where atrocities have happened beyond measure and beyond the eyes of the West. This is targeting information that the United States has passed on to France for this particular attack. Let's remember that these airstrikes happen just 48 hours, less than 48 hours after the particular after the attacks in Paris, and we understand that any moment now aircraft will be taking off for the second round of airstrikes in al-Raqqa and certain other locations as well. Now, this intelligence data has been provided by the United States, which, as we know, has already been attacking targets in that particular area. But France so far, Gaurav, has not been part of air operations over Syria against ISIS positions. It took the Paris tragedy, the Paris terror attack, to goad France into entering the war so directly. So now 10 jets have been committed to bombing strikes against ISIS positions in Syria. We understand that there may be more force allocated to this particular operation. Okay. But as of now, there is some conjecture about whether the US and France will be working together in these airstrikes. As of now, the US isn't striking targets in Syria. France currently is. We understand that more information, more intelligence data will be provided to the French for more airstrikes, perhaps today and for the rest of this week as well.
And Shiv, the punitive response that France has threatened the Islamic State with is not symbolic. It's not just because there was a terror strike in which 130 people were killed, so 10 aircraft take off, drop 20 bombs and come back. This, according to the French, is a fight to the finish. All NATO allies come together, and especially this meeting that took place between Barack Obama and Vladimir Putin. Now, does that add to this, or does that take away from this effort?
I think it might actually add to it, Gaurav, because remember, the only two countries that have so far mounted airstrikes in Syria are the United States and more recently Russia. Devastating attacks on, command and control centers of the ISIS in Syria have been mounted by Russia. In fact, in the recent past, they even released extensive videos of that particular bombing campaign. They've been attacking not just with fighter aircraft, but also with attack helicopters. So very close to the ground operations being conducted by Russia without any boots on the ground. A complicated effort. On your first question, will this really galvanize the entire NATO, / international effort against ISIS? It appears to be this could be the beginnings of that. Even if it wasn't, the huge numbers of deaths that have already taken place in Syria at large, either because of terrorism or because of the armed conflict between Assad and the rebels. The simple fact of the matter is, has Paris galvanized the international community enough to actually form a formidable coalition strong enough to wipe out the ISIS? There have been stops and starts in the past, Gaurav. We've seen...
Yes.
When a Jordanian pilot was captured by ISIS, tortured and murdered, Jordan mounted airstrikes. Now when Paris has happened, France has mounted these airstrikes. The conjecture and the speculation over whether this can be a sustained operation is actually still out there. Will the anger ebb? Will the anger subside? Will France pull back its fighters? At this moment, it doesn't appear so. That merciless response by France seems to be playing out in good measure.
Shiv, keep tracking that story. I will come back to you for more. There were a total of 12 aircraft, as Shivaru was just reporting, that participated in these airstrikes in Syria. 10 of these fighter bombers, Mirage 2000N and Mirage 2000Ds, and 2 Rafales. Now, the attacks were launched simultaneously from NATO bases in the UAE and in Jordan. They struck at the Islamic State Command and Control Center and a training camp. 20 bombs were dropped. It was reported that US intelligence had earlier intercepted communication between Al-Raqqa and the terrorists in Paris just ahead of the deadly terror attacks. The aircraft, Rafales, Mirage 2000Ds and Mirage 2000N, and 1 Atlantic maritime reconnaissance and patrol aircraft was also used for support. And these are extremely crucial. Now, Mirage 2000 fighter bombers, they were used by the Indian Air Force also during the Kargil war for precision bombing on Tiger Hill. Apart from that, the Rafales were used, precision munition used to drop bombs, precision munition on training camps, on a command and control center, and also an oil and fuel depot of the Islamic State.
Ni sa ga ma 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 ni pa ma ga ni pa ma ga sa ni pa ma ni sa pa sa जहाँ तक यादें याद आती रहेगी